Music has long been an integral part of all games, from the lauded earliest basic 2D titles to today's not-so-lauded hyper-realistic experiences. However, for no other game studio has music played as crucial a role in their games as it does for Nintendo. You really don't have to be a Nintendo boy to know at least a dozen of their iconic tracks, because, well, they've been releasing such bangers as Unknown One from Donkey Kong Barrel Blast or Dash Yellow Cup from Pokemon Dash since the prehistoric age of 1979, and so far they have yet to under-deliver. Like, seriously, even their lesser-known or failed games have absolutely lit soundtracks, while newer ones become instant cult classics. Think of Super Mario Odyssey, for example, or Animal Crossing New Horizons. And then, in 2017, they hit us with the most popular Zelda game ever, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild revived many of the series' iconic soundtracks by adding a new spin on them, and smashed the record for the most sold Zelda game ever made. My favorite ones have to be the Rita Village Night and the new Great Fairy Fountain theme. However, the same year it was released, unbeknownst to most at the time, a small company started to study what made Breath of the Wild such a hit. And to say that this company succeeded would be a major understatement. You succeeded in winning in your local science fair. This company exploded. In 2020, there was released a game so impactful it put the studio on the map along with massive AAA companies. A game so profitable that within just the first year of its existence, it came third in the charts for the highest grossing games. A game that surpassed its $100 million budget 40-fold in revenue after just 2 years of being released. Genshin Impact. Now, Genshin Impact made massive waves when it came out 3 years ago, so all the things that could be said about it have already been said, right? Right? Genshin Impact isn't a game I feel too strongly about, but before a horde of toxic fans come and tear me to subatomic particles, I have to say, the music is incredible. I would just be wandering around some random province and my ears would get blessed with this. So can you imagine just how flabbergasted I was when I realized that there was no 3-hour-long video essay talking about the intricacies of its music. For a game this big, in this economy? There aren't a whole lot of videos that really discuss the beautiful integration of music in Genshin Impact. The best I found was an analysis of one of Genshin's regional OSTs, and then the rest of them were videos in the popular format of musicians reacting to a game OST, or gorecore, or killing someone with rockcore. I don't know, music tastes are wild these days. Which is honestly a disaster. Because if there's one thing, if there are two things that Genshin Impact deserves credit for, is its art direction and its optimization. And it is this that makes Genshin, and now hear me out, don't listen to the memes, I'm sane and dead serious, in some regards the best game I have ever played. Because, well, what is a game? You still with me? What is the definition of a video game? Well, my definition of it is a collection of code, art, music, and storytelling that come together to create something more than just the sum of these parts. However, if we evaluated a game from a more practical and mechanical point of view, then we would mainly consider factors like code, optimization, art direction, music, and mechanics first and foremost. And in that regard, purely functionally, Genshin Impact is a masterclass. There is no arguing about that. It is honestly incredible that a then small team behind MiHoYo managed to create such a charming and vibrant world. Very often, I found myself just wandering around in these gorgeous valleys, in these serene peaks, observing the sheer beauty of the world around me that feels like a painting or a scene from some Ghibli movie. And while the anime aesthetic is certainly a preference, it is one I am very drawn towards, especially to the unique adaptation of that style into 3D by MiHoYo. The cel shading work here is honestly insane. But there's more. These guys, right, and I'm not praising them or anything, but they optimized it so much that it can run on any platform and you don't even need a high-end machine for that. Okay, it's not perfect. A lot of older hardware does struggle. But even my 7-year-old entry-level gaming laptop still pushed 60 FPS on medium without much effort. I mean, this is crazy. I can literally see half of the map blocked out from any elevation. How does this make any sense? Now, these alone make for impressive feats that would make Genshin Impact good, but the true beauty is found when you slow down. Switch the pace to walking and you will notice a lot of attention to details and music. Let's start with just how baller the menu theme is. The acapella goes hard. I wonder if they hired those Korean guys who refused to read my recommendations. Sure, a lot of games have unique and even iconic main themes. Ocarina of Time, the OG Halo, Rock Bumble, all are classics with incredible music direction. But at the same time, there is something so soothing in the acapella of the main menu, so actively inviting you to enter this fantastic world, and also possibly making your wallet cry. The world you traverse, by design, was carefully handcrafted to be stunning. I mean, like, look at these water reflections, man. If this isn't aesthetic, I don't know what is. And this game is chock full of these small stylistic decisions, like the careful color grading of trees, which range from orange to salad, with darker colors appearing more frequently in more harsh or moist environments. Or, for example, if you observe Liyue at night, you will see that the harbor skies are filled with hundreds of Chinese lanterns and kites, which create this cinematic fairy tale kind of vibe. And once again, what makes these scenes come as striking as they are is the fact that they are complemented with incredible soundtracks. Now, I've already mentioned the menu theme, but one that is always on my playlist is this one. It also plays in the ads. There is just this very unique and warm feeling in these tunes that I can't quite put into words. There are so many of them, I can find one for any circumstance and they still would fit. Getting ready in the morning, check. Writing a script, check. Going to have a little nappy, check. Gaming, check. The beeps and the boops make my brain tingle. And while we are still in the harbor, here are two more things that you might not notice. First is the fact that pretty much at any time of day, Genshin Impact tries to implement color theory on your each step. At Liyue Harbor, we have the blue sky against the orange harbor and lanterns, complementary colors that create great color harmony and in turn, beautiful scenery. And then there's also this boat I noticed in the distance that I thought would just be a non-interactable 3D model. So in true Asian fashion, I built a massive bridge to this one remote location, and golly gee, rattle me bones, this is an actual location with things to do. This ship in the distance from a harbor of one of the 5 major cities is an actual interactive part of the game. This level of detail is purely admirable. But let's head over to Sumeru, and while we're on the way, let's give into the masculine urge to climb this mountain, and notice how serene it is here. The music on top of the peak is nothing like what you would find on something like the Dragonspire Mountain, another much bigger and hostile height. And that's another less minute detail. The music really varies depending on what location you're in, and I think that's a trick miHoYo took from Nintendo's book, as the vibe of the music in places like Nilinju Pass very much reflects this stillness with a pinch of melancholy in that unchanging region of ancient temples. And really, this right here is the reason I keep returning to Genshin Impact. I remember a song, a really beautiful landscape and atmosphere that you feel in the air that makes my heart beat louder. Log on, download 20 updates, each half the size of my hard drive, solely for this experience of soaking in all the beauty of this world. The color harmony work, the way clouds look and move across the skies, the small details like how although Liyue is the capital of the region, it is still dwarfed by massive cliffs that surround it from all sides, but most importantly, the music that ties it all together. There are so many good soundtracks that evoke and reflect different emotions and vibes that you can't quite express with words or visuals alone. It takes them and creates this very unique, calming and almost therapeutic experience. As we continue further into Sumeru, you may start to notice something: the sound design. Have I already informed you of how stupendous the attention to sound design in this game gets? If you try to pay attention, you will find out that gender, physical stature, and weather conditions all play a role in how your footsteps sound. Depending on your character, walking sounds will be different. Their frequency can be lower. There might or might not be ringing of metallic objects, or the sound of hard fabric sliding against itself. More attention was given to the sound design of these footsteps than to the entirety of Fallout 76. Sumeru also exemplifies what this game does really well, giving each region its own musical identity. Here it is a melting pot of Indian and Arabic influence. At night, you can notice how the mist around the central regions of Sumeria turn purple. And that's because color harmony is back at it again, baby, since purple is a perfect complement to color. And so, Sumeria 2 creates this unique vibe with just as incredible of a soundtrack. But there's an issue. Despite these incredible vibes, even though this is a gigantic open world with unique locations and stories on every corner, I can't help but feel a little lonely after playing for a while. Sure, I have this massive, handcrafted, vibrant world with all these beautiful characters and colors and scenery in front of me, I still feel like this is an empty world, a fabricated one. One that, while seemingly bursts with all this creative energy and beauty, is a hollow one on the inside. Now, it might exactly be the colorful art style that does this to me, or it might be the less than optimal pacing of the plot, and I know that this is purely a me thing and most people will have no idea what I'm talking about, but this to me is what holds me back from completely immersing myself in this world. When I'm presented with a world so vast and told to just go explore, I can't help but just feel so lost and confused in it. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of memes making fun of Genshin Impact. Now, I wouldn't call myself the biggest fan of Genshin Impact, I mostly just like to admire the stunning worlds MiHoYo has crafted, but I do still feel like it's a bit unfair. Yes, I know that most of these memes are made by trolls, and I know that most of them are targeted against the vocal minority of admittedly very toxic fans this game has attracted, for certain reasons. However, I also know that if you repeat the same thing over and over again on the internet, it will start to become true. And that's kind of sad because while the game isn't ideal and the fanbase is very obnoxious, if you're a fan of such an aesthetic, and you can't tolerate gacha, for the pure atmosphere, the permeating care for this world that oozes out of every corner, and most importantly for its one-of-a-kind, beautiful score, you should try it out, or at the very least, put the soundtrack in the background. Even if you don't like the game, you might still enjoy the OST, like so many of my friends have. Because if there's one thing that can unite people from completely different communities, it's good music. The gentle sound of a lone violin, the epic polyrhythms of battle fight themes, melancholic flute, and beautiful a cappella. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that, damn, Rock Bumble may have some serious competition.